Hey guys, this is Mel, and I'm back to talk about Legacies, episode 102, titled Some People Just Want to Watch the World Burn, which premiered Thursday, November 1st, 2018 on the CW. I'm recording on November 2nd, so huge spoiler alert. If you haven't seen the episode already, please go do so first, and then come back and see what I have to say about the episode. Otherwise, my other video reminders are up on screen. Take a moment to remind yourselves of those. This is going to be different than the video I did for the premiere. Pretty much this is going to be a recap, try to share what my thoughts were, any observations that I made, stuff like that. And hopefully I can do it in 15 minutes. It might go over, but I'm going to try not to. And then add some questions and then some predictions at the very end. I'm going to start the clock. Hope you guys tune in and include your thoughts in the comments down below. Or if you notice something that I didn't, please, by all means, let me know. But let's get started. So what happened in this episode? So timeline wise, or before I get to timeline, I guess I should say that I noticed that in the first two episodes they might be doing the same thing that they did over on the Vampire Diaries, and is the fact that the title of the episode is going to be said by someone in the episode. So for Vampire Diaries in season 8, a lot of the quotes or the episode titles were quotes said in season 1. So this time, the title quote, "Some people just want to watch the world burn," was said by Penelope to MG in this episode. So I'll start off with that. So timeline-wise, though, it takes place the same day as the chemical spill. So at the end of episode 101, we got that scene where Sheriff Matt Donovan is filling in Hope and Alaric about what happened on the bus. And this is during the day. So I'm assuming maybe it's a few hours later where the episode starts off with Hope meeting with the counselor, Emma. So with that said, it's also technically the day after the tracking spell was done between Hope and Josie. And also Raphael has stated that he's been at the school for 2 days. So there's your timeline markers there. But episode reminder, I'm definitely going to say dragons. And I'll bring that back to the featured creature of the episode, since they are going to try to do a monster of the week type thing. And it was a fire-breathing witch or a pyromancer that ended up being a dragon, both human form and dragon form. So that was a surprise there. First off, I will say this: when they had the dragon being in human form, when they first set the idea out initially, episode 612 of Supernatural, which aired in 2011, came to mind. But then they actually showed the true form of the dragon, which I thought was very impressive. So I'll leave that there. So episode breakdown, there's kind of two different storylines happening in this episode. First one being the search for Landon and that mysterious dagger that he took. And then also there was this flag football game happening between the Salvatore Stallions, which is our school, and versus the Mystic High Timberwolves, which is the OG school of Mystic Falls, where Elena, Caroline, Matt, Jeremy, Bonnie, Tyler, all of them went to school there, and Alaric even taught there. So there's that. So initially with the search for Landon, this included Alaric, Hope, Raphael, and later on they find Landon. But Landon claims he doesn't remember stealing the knife. They ended up running into a dragon that is the one that burned the people on the bus, because she wanted the dagger or the knife, whichever way you want to call it. And then by the end of all this, Landon and Raphael they run and make it on their own so that they don't go back to the school. And Alaric kills the dragon by stabbing her in the throat with the knife while she was in human form. So there's that. Now with the football game, though, apparently it's an annual game that happens between the two schools. And Alaric, as headmaster, allows for this to happen to have the facade of the boarding school be kept in place so that there's no questions asked as to why they're there or what's so special about them. So there's a lot of tension between the two schools, to the point that the Stallions want to prove that they're better than them, better than the humans of the Timberwolves. But in the end, Josie makes sure that they win, which is what Alaric wanted them to do, by using a little bit of magic at the end. So there's that. So the last scene of the episode shows a gargoyle statue coming to life that is stationed at the gate of the school. So that's something there. But character-wise, though, we do see Dorian Williams returning again. He is the coach to the flag football team alongside Alark. Plus, he's also helps with research and getting information for Alark. So it looks like, well, he's a librarian too, so like that makes sense. But it looks like Dorian might be a recurring character from the looks of it so far. I mean, it's only 2 episodes, so how do I know? I don't, but like, which I'm glad for. If Dorian's recurring, then like that makes complete sense, and I'm hoping it is, because I like his character. I like what he brings, and the fact that we get to see someone that Alark can confide in and turn to that we also know from the Vampire Diaries is pretty cool. We meet a new a character in Emma. She is in this counselor position. We only see her in the one scene with Hope, but we do learn that she has a beacon that signals when magic is used. I don't know if it's like when all magic is used, similar to what Davina Claire was able to do in season 1 of the originals. She was able to sense when magic was being used in New Orleans, or if the beacon specifically goes off when dark magic, or when, was it dark magic or black magic they called it? Anyways, when that type of magic is used, which is magic they don't allow at the school. So I'm wondering about that. They didn't reveal what she is, though, if she's a supernatural creature herself, or if she's human or not, or if she's just a fellow witch and that's why she's able to use the beacon. But we do meet Emma in this episode. We also meet Caleb in this episode. We find out that he's a vampire, a newly turned one, but before that he was an all-star athlete as a human, and this was the first annual game for him. So this is probably his first year at the school. So he's a normal teenager still, age-wise. So there's that. Also, we found out that for MG, who is a vampire, he's also new to the school, as this is also, I believe this was also his first annual game as well. So there's that as well. Also, his crush on Lizzie, apparently it's noticeable to people other than Lizzie. So there's that. Also, Dana, I believe, she's one of the Timberwolves, and she's the one that antagonizes Lizzie during the game, but apparently find out that her father's a dentist and her mom works at the pharmacy, and she uses very personal information to taunt her victims from the looks of it. So I hope we don't see her again. She's quite a bitch. I'll leave it at that. She's like Penelope level, which is the thing. All right, moving on to tidbits though. Black magic. I see it now. Black magic is forbidden at the school. Alark makes it a point to lecture Hope about that. So there's that. Also, there seems to be a rivalry between the twins and Hope. They're vying for Alark's attention. The twins thinks that Alark is picking Hope over them, or that he loves her more than them. The twins have even talked between each other about the fact that over the last 10 years of knowing Hope, Hope has made them feel like they don't matter to her. When they've tried to befriend her and try to welcome her in, Hope's just not been receptive to it. So there's a bit of jealousy and rivalry from the twin side of things. Hope, not sure how Hope feels about all of that though, but I think she still feels isolated and stuff because of all the loss she's dealt with. But anyways, that's just me speculating. But also, Alark and Dorian are the coaches of the flag football team, which I did mention before. It was revealed that Lizzie does take medication. Dana kind of brought that up in a taunt towards her. What type of medication is not said. If it's an actual something or if it's like a suppressant for a magical issue, or if it's a human issue, not sure. We also find out that Penelope knows about MG's crush on Lizzie, and she wants to help him snag her, despite the fact that she hates Lizzie. So there's that. Also, Penelope made the point of saying that she always does things purposely. Whatever she does is always on purpose, type of thing. So her move on MG in the kitchen the previous night was done purposely so that Josie could catch them, which I found that very manipulative. But anyways, also we find out that Lizzie had vomited up black goo in response to Josie using black magic with Hope. Don't know if she was actually being literal, or if that is always the case between the twins. The fact that they are responsive towards what the other does in regards to magic. Don't know if that's also in any way connected to them being siphon witches. I'm still waiting for them to address that on the show, because that is something that is distinctly unique to them. So there's that. But moving on to the most shocking moment of the episode, I think it had to be the fact that we got to see the actual dragon transformed with the wings and like the beast like state, and it's just, I wasn't expecting that at all. I always thought that they were just going to keep the humanized version of her, but I'll leave it at that. But moving on to top 3 favorite moments, favorite of mine would have to be Landon's letter to Hope. The fact that he even had time to write her a note was impressive, considering they were waiting on the side of the road while a dragon was attacking. But I like that what was said in the letter, I like that he apologized and that he was trying to explain like where he was coming from and like how he knew he messed up in regards to her. And then also saying the fact that he promised that he would keep the secret of the school so she didn't have to worry about that. Also the fact that the previous night they had together where they did share a kiss at the very end is one of the happiest nights of his life, or days of his life. So it was a lot to take in. I'm glad, while I wish it was done in person and then he didn't leave, I'm glad he still wrote the letter to kind of clear the air with her. Not sure how she if she accepts it or if she I don't know. I just like the fact that the words were there and we got to hear what it was said. Also, another favor that attaches to it, because while she's reading that letter, there's a close-up of her mantle where she has 2 photos of the Michelson family. You have the one photo, which is part of the season 4 promotional photos from the originals, and that is the family in the immortal Michelsons in the woods with the 7-year-old Hope. Haley is missing from that photo. So I guess to give the illusion that Haley is the one taking the photo. But it essentially looks like the actual official promotional poster photos that they released. And then also the other photo was taken in the Vampire Diaries season 3. I think it's episode 14. Check the screen if I'm not mistaken. But it is when the 5 Michelsons are on the staircase during that ball where they welcomed Esther into Mystic Falls, or welcoming her back. And you have all 5 siblings on the staircase with their flutes of champagne. And it's just like all the feels of not only a photo and a time from the first show, but you got a photo and a time of the second show. And it's just like, oh my God, it's really showing the history there. And that's what also made me love the whole Landon letter thing even more, just to have those photos featured. I love it. So moving on from that, though, another favorite I had was Hope, the dynamic between Hope and Alaric, specifically in the woods, it's really interesting to see, because on the one hand they have the whole headmaster student dynamic, but then also it seems like he's taken on a father figure type of role to her, and a mentor to her, or a guardianship role at least. And just to see that part of him get touched upon, and really bring out why he cares for her, what his worries are to her. And then also when he mentions the fact that her taking these dark actions is not her, but the part of her father that she's taken influence from. It's just to know that it really showed the history between the two. Because it's not just Alaric knowing and getting to learn or getting to know Hope over the last 10 years. Alaric has known her father. He has been at the very opposite sides of the battle with her father. I mean, her father even possessed Alaric when he's first introduced in season 2 of the Vampire Diaries. So it's there's this huge history between Alaric and Hope's father, and then add on Hope into that. It was just really great to see that all that coming into that fight in the woods when he's lecturing her about using black magic and what her intentions were. But I really like how I can see why the twins are jealous and worried about the fact that Alaric might love Hope more than his own daughters. But I still like that Hope does have someone like Alaric in her life to look out for her. So there's that. And another favorite I did have was the fact that we got to see Alaric confiding in Dorian, both in research and both at the end of the episode, where he's telling him, like, how am I supposed to protect my daughters if I'm supposed to protect them from things that aren't supposed to exist. I like that because, like, when Dorian was first introduced, he was just meant to be, I think, one of Alaric's student interns in the research department or something at and then he brought them into the armory in season 8 of the Vampire Diaries, where he was brought into the whole siren search and everything. So it was just really great to see how they are still working together, and how interconnected they are, I guess you could say, in their work, and how, like, they come to be not just co-workers but friends too. And I really like that, and it was just great to see it. I wish that Caroline was there too, because she does play a part in, like, watching over these students, but they still haven't mentioned why she's not at the school. But I just like the fact that Dorian is a part of it more. I was worried that he was just going to have a cameo here and there, but it looks like he could be in a recurring role. I hope it stays like that, or if not, bump him up to series regular. But, like, I want to see more of the partnership between Alaric and Dorian, for the sake, like, and then had Caroline. I really hope Caroline gets put in there, or at least explain why Caroline is not at the school too. But that still wouldn't diminish that I like the fact that we get a partnership between Alaric and Dorian. So there's that. Now, moving on to top 3 peeved moments. Originally, it was going to be the fact that they turned the pyromancer into a dragon before they revealed that they were actually going to show the dragon in its true form. Now, this was a peeve of mine because the moment they said dragon, I kind of lost interest, because I already dealt with human dragons in human form on Supernatural 7 years ago. But at that point in my head, I was more interested in a pyromancer, because, like, how does a witch become a fire-breathing witch? Like, how does that happen? And then all before they revealed that the human version of this dragon actually has a dragon form. So that took away the whole peeve altogether. But I would have been interested to see, like, what actually needed to be done for a witch to become a pyromancer. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know. Anyways, moving on. What moment will I remember most when I look back on this episode? The huge-ass dragon, for sure. I mean, if you're going to start off, like, they were going to start with creatures and all, that's one way to do it, right? Go big and go home, right? So there's that. Moving on to random questions, though, very quickly. First one. How does no one in or near Mystic Falls see the dragon flying around in the sky over the woods? I mean, like, it's not like a little bird, and I'm pretty sure a dragon is going to be either the size of an airplane or a bit or smaller. But, like, wouldn't you notice that flying around in your city's skyline? Is like, I was a little worried about, like, the dragon flying too high above the tree line, and then, like, people who don't know about the Supernatural see the dragon. So it's like, I was, like, wondering why is that not happening? So there's that. Another question. Where did the dragon come from? Another one. Why is it showing up now? Also, why is that gargoyle showing up now? Let's tag into that too. Also, with that one, I guess we would get an answer for it in next week's episode, though. But is the gargoyle, like, an actual gargoyle, or was the statue just animated and brought to life by magic or something? So there's that. Now, separate question, though, is if Landon claims that he doesn't remember stealing the dagger, then what truly happened to let those events happen? I mean, was he compelled? Was there a spell put on him? Was he actually telling the truth that he doesn't know, or is he lying to save his ass, or what's going on there? So there's that. And the last question is, was that dagger specifically a dragon killing dagger, and that's why the dragon was coming after it? Or was the dagger special for another reason, and it just so happened to be the weapon of choice to kill the dragon? So there's that right there. Moving on to predictions, though, very quickly. Based off the promo for 103, it looks like gargoyles attack the school. I mean, they already released the first clip of it, and that's when Lizzie and Pedro discover the fact that there is a gargoyle roaming around the school grounds. So there's that. But the synopsis for the episode reads that as punishment for breaking the rules, Hope, Lizzie, Josie, and MG are forced to participate in a community service project in the Mystic Falls town square. Meanwhile, Landon and Raphael's attempt at a carefree life on the road takes a dangerous turn when they become unsuspecting targets. Finally, Alaric realizes that keeping secrets from the students may be causing more harm than good. So the secrets might have to do with the whole creatures coming and targeting the school. So that might be it. As for punishments for breaking the rules, I wonder if that's specifically for the events of the past 2 episodes. So Hope and Josie using black magic, and then Lizzie and MJ using their powers during the football game. Maybe. Unless they did something else between this episode and the next one. So there's that. But also, character Jeremy Gilbert is expected to appear in this episode coming up. So I'm excited to see how that happens. Because last we saw of him, he was in the series finale of the Vampire Diaries when they first show the boarding school up and running, and he looked like he was one of the teachers there. So it'll be interesting to see how they explain his presence as well as his absence, because he's not a recurring character. So I'll leave it at that. But what did you guys think of the episode? What did you guys like about it? What do you think is going to happen next? Let me know in the comments down below. Love to hear your own thoughts, theories, and predictions about what you think is going to happen in the next episode. Also, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and check out my other videos if you haven't done so already. If you want, check out my Tumblr page. The link for that is down below. I read blog promos, web clips, quotes, gifs, synopses, news, all that good stuff all in one place. Go check that out. I'm trying to be up to date with like the connecting the videos and like synopsis and stuff to the page so you can easily find them in one place. But GIFs are a slow process. I have to find them and reload and reblog them and stuff, but you get the idea. But go check that out as well. WordPress account, link for that is down below. Everything I post online is connected to my WordPress account. It's more detailed, so give that a try. There's a little bit more pages connected about this Vampire Diaries Originals Legacies universe, including a complete flashback timeline if you want to remind yourselves, or for people who haven't seen the 2 previous shows, kind of get an idea of which episodes to specifically check out if you only want the flashback stuff. So there's that. Also, if you're coming from my Vampire Diaries or my Originals videos, I did used to do a recap of the episodes on my live journal. I'm not going to do that for Legacies, but I do still have the Originals and the Vampire Diary ones still posted, so you can always go to my WordPress account to get those links. But for Legacies, I won't be continuing that tradition. But otherwise, guys, that's pretty much it. So thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for your patience. I hope you come back next week to see what I have to say about the next episode. But until then, guys, this is Mel. Wishing you all a great day, great week wherever you are. Bye for now.